Hello and welcome back. So here we're going to be looking at the basic laws of indices. So the objective here is to use the basic laws of indices correctly, and we're also going to be able to simplify expressions involving powers. So the first rule before we get started, we need to know that if we have x to the power of a times x to the power of b, what we do is we add the powers. So we do x to the power of a plus b. So in other words, if we had, say, x to the power of 3 and we were timesing it by x to the power of 7, this would be the same as adding the powers. So 3 plus 7 makes 10, so that would be x to the power of 10. Here's the second rule. So if we're dividing, we subtract the powers. So x to the power of a divided by x to the power of b is x to the power of a take away b. So in other words, if we had x to the power of 7 divided by x to the power of 5, we're going to do 7 take away 5, which is 2. So we have x to the power of 2. One example that we do need to be a little bit wary of is if we are subtracting negative powers. So if we had x to the power of 3 divided by x to the power of minus 7, this time we're doing, this is the same as x to the power of 3 minus 7, but two negatives we know make a positive. So this becomes x to the power of 10. A third rule is when we have brackets, what we do is we multiply a and b. So x to the power of a to the power of b is x to the power of a times b. So if we had x to the power of 7 to the power of 3, this is x to the power of 7 times 3, which is 21. Rule number 4 is anything to the power of 0 is 1. So if we have x to the power of 0, that's always going to be 1. So that applies for any value of x. So if we had 10 to the power of 0, that's going to be 1. Or let's say 77 to the power of 0, sorry, that's going to be 1. Any number raised to the power of 0 is 1. Here's an example. So we need to start by simplifying x to the 3 times x to the 5. So we're multiplying, so we're going to add the powers. So 3 plus 5, that's 8. So we end up with x to the power of 8. Here's another example. So x to the 7 divided by x to the 2. So we're dividing, so we subtract the powers. So 7 take away 2, that's going to be 5. Here's another example. So x to the power of 3 to the power of 4. So we have brackets. So we're going to multiply. So 3 times 4 is 12. So this is going to be x to the power of 12. Here we have 3x to the 4 times 2x to the 3. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to start off by doing 2 times or 3 times 2 or 2 times 3 is the same thing. 3 times 2, that's 6. And then we're going to be doing x to the 4 times x to the 3. And we know that we add the powers because we're timesing. So that's going to be x to the power of 7. Another example, we have 4x cubed times 2x to the power of 5 divided by x. Now it's worth mentioning that x by itself is x to the power of 1. So anything to the power of 1 is the number itself. So we're going to start off by doing 4 times 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then we're going to do x to the 3 times x to the 5 divided by x to the 1. So it's x to the power, and then we're going to do 3 plus 5, which is 8. And then we're going to subtract 1, so we end up with 7. Here's another example. So we've got simplify x to the power of 3 times 6x to the power of 7 over 3x to the power of 9. So we're going to start off by simplifying the numerator. So x to the power of 3 times 6x to the power of 7. X to the power of 3 by itself is the same as 1x to the power of 3. So I'm going to do 1 times 6, which is 6. And then x to the 3 times x to the 7, which is x to the power of 10. And we're going to divide that by 3x to the power of 9. So I'm going to do 6 divided by 3, which is 2. And then x to the 10 divided by x to the 9. This is going to be x to the 1. And we can just write this as 2x. Okay? Okay, here's another example. So we're doing 2x cubed y to the power of 4 all to the power of 3. Now a common mistake here is to just do 4 times 3. So a lot of people would leave this as 2x cubed y to the 12. Now this is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. The reason why this is wrong is because what we're essentially doing is we're cubing the whole thing. So essentially what we're doing is 2x cubed y to the 4 times 2x cubed y to the 4 times 2x cubed y to the 4. So essentially we're doing 2 cubed, so we have to remember to cube the 2. So 2 cubed is 8. And then we've got x to the 3 times x to the 3 times x to the 3. So that's 3 lots of x to the 3. So that's going to be x to the 9. And then we've got y to the 4 times y to the 4 times y to the 4. So again, 3 lots of y to the 4. So that's going to be y to the power of 12. So what we do is we have to cube everything. So we do 2 to the power of 3, which is 8, x cubed to the power of 3, which is x to the 9, and then finally y to the 4 to the power of 3, which is 12. And that is the answer to that question. Another example, so simplify 9 to the power of 0. This one's easy, 1 mark, you should not lose this mark. 9 to the power of 0 is always going to be 1. Okay, so here are some quick fire practice questions on this topic. Pause the video, have a go at these, and I'll reveal the answers in a moment. Okay, welcome back if you had a go at those. Here are the answers, so well done if you managed to get all of those correct. And that's everything for this video. So well done for having a go at this, and I'll see you again in another video. Bye!